Hello and welcome to Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. Joining us today is Windsor's award-winning filmmaker, Ken Amlin. Ken has been producing films locally for over 25 years. His films have appeared in many film festivals, both in Canada and internationally, and have garnered numerous awards, including notably for his 2020 film, Stay. Ken recently produced a television series titled Strange Tales of the South Shore, which includes 2 episodes based right here in Essex County. Welcome to Scribes and Songsters.
Hi, thanks for having me, Vero.
It's a pleasure. So there's so much to talk about because I know you've done so much in these last 25 years, but tell us a little bit about Ken Amlin. Where'd you grow up?
Sure. I grew up in LaSalle in Essex County right here. And I was always, had the urge to be creative. My first creative outlet was music. I started playing drums when I was 11 years old. And it took a liking to that. That became my passion, my life, spending every day, 3 hours a day, banging away on the drums.
What'd your parents think?
Oh, they were very supportive, bless their hearts, because it was very loud. But did that and played in many bands. When the time came to go to college, I was interested in getting into Fanshaw's music program. And that was at the time considered, that's where you want to be if you're in music and you're here in Ontario. So I applied, unfortunately didn't get in, but I did get into St. Clair's brand new program called Entertainment Technology.
Right.
It was the inaugural year. And so we didn't really know what to expect, but we knew that it had something to do with music. So, all right, well, that's kind of what I'm into. Great, I want to be in music. And when the program started, I found right away that it was all about live events, live production, concerts, but also I learned a lot about theater. Mm-hmm. And there was even a video component. And I was really drawn to the video component. At the time, it was really, my thought was, I could make music videos for my band. This is great. So I took a liking to it. I started to explore what I could do. And even before then, I started exploring with still photography and teaching myself how to use a camera. My girlfriend at the time had a DSLR and she had no idea how to use it. I thought, it can't be that hard. Let me see it for a weekend. I'll figure it out and I'll teach you. And I did. And then I just loved taking pictures. And that turned into a love for filming and video work. And somewhere around the end of college, my best friend Corey and I were reminded of a conversation we had in high school where we decided, we should make a movie. We both love movies.
So did you go to a lot of movies back then?
We went to movies all the time, every weekend or so, seeing whatever was out, right? It didn't matter if it was comedy, horror, action, not too many dramas, I guess, at that age, but we really loved it. And so we both naively thought, how hard could it be? Neither of us had ever been on a film set. We know nothing about filmmaking. We didn't know anyone who was a filmmaker. We just thought, this looks interesting. We want to do this. So, of course, that was high school. I go off to college and he goes off to psychology and university. And then we meet up again and think, hey, remember that idea for the movie? Why don't we do that? I've been, learning a little bit about video work and still photography. So let's do it. Okay. So just jumping into the fire without any idea, having to basically teach ourselves every step of everything from, how do we get people to show up when we need them to show up? I guess we need to invent a piece of paper that is called a call sheet. We didn't know what was on a call sheet. We've never been to a film shoot before. So it was every step trying to figure out a problem solving of, this is what I want to achieve. How do I do that? Right?
Then did you have an idea for the film?
We did. Yeah. We knew we wanted to do a horror film. When you're starting out, that seems to be the best route for everyone to take because you don't need to pay a lot for a big star. And you can get away with a cheesy story as long as you scare people. Yeah. So I joke now that we were a little ahead of our time because we came up with a quarantine film.
No.
Yeah. This is 2008. And we wrote this quarantine film that was a werewolf movie in disguise. Because as soon as the sun set, the moon came out, everyone who was sick turned into a werewolf. So almost the whole thing was shot at the University of Windsor dorm building over the course of the summer of 2008. And, we put our casting up on Kijiji. And, we had 10 roles to fill. 9 people showed up. And so, for the last role, we were begging one of our friends, please just be in our movie. Please be in the movie. And she did. And so that was it. Everyone was doing it for the first time and trying to figure it out. I think our total budget was $3,000.
Wow.
And that included buying the camera and about $700 worth of fur and material to build the werewolf costume. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We learned a lot, of course. I joke now that if you watch the movie, you can see our progression because we shot most of it in order. So we're getting better and learning as we're going. So just skip the first 30 minutes of the movie and it holds together much stronger.
Yeah.
But we love the process. In doing it, we got about 80% of the movie done in that summer. And we had some other scenes that were lingering. We still had to rewrite a few. We got one problem was the climax of the film wasn't working. There was this big showdown between our hero and the werewolf. And it was a night scene. And we had heard this idea, this concept of shooting day for night. Okay, well, we'll do that. It must be as simple as it sounds. Go during the day and then you just push a button and make it nighttime. No, does not work like that. So, of course, that didn't work. We went back out a second time and thought, okay, well, what if the character left their headlights on? Or there's a full moon and it's very bright and the headlights light up the field. Okay, we tried again. It was better, but night is very dark and headlights are not very bright. So we're doing some yard work, Corey and I, one night at my mom's house, during the day actually, and it just comes to me. What if the car blows up? What if there's a huge car fire, this ball of fire, and that is our excuse for just flooding the entire field with red light? Then we can see the action of the climax. Okay, great. But now we have to blow up a car. And why does the car blow up? Well, maybe it crashes. Okay, so now we have to do a car explosion and a car crash in our no-budget film just to justify lighting the climax. And we did. It was just a matter of believe you can do it and you'll find a way to do it. The stars certainly aligned because one day I was on another job and took a different route out of the county and driving down 42, saw this car junkyard and parked right against the front fence was the exact same car that we'd already shot as our hero's car. And it was the actor's actual car that we had used. And here's that same model car, same color, just sitting in the junkyard. So Corey and I approached them and said, hey, we want to use this car for the movie. We want to blow it up. And the guy just said, okay, great. Put it on a trailer. Just bring it back when you're done. Like, okay, great. So, all right, we've got the car. That's step one, but there's a lot of steps. And so we now have to figure out, well, how do we blow up a car? We don't know what we're doing. We're not pyrotechnicians, barely know how to make a movie. We don't.
So you've got this foundation. You have learned how to make a feature film. What happens to you after that?
Well, again, the stars never stopped aligning because in the submission of that 48-hour film that we were submitting in order to try and win the prize to finish the feature, there was a local production company, Suede Productions, that were doing the judging. And so I had to deliver the tape to this random address and a gentleman named Nick Shields, who I didn't know at the time, opens the door, and I said, "What is this place? This is the coolest looking office I've ever seen."
Yeah, it sure is.
It wasn't cubicles. There was colorful walls. It was all open concept. This was super modern and cool. And so very graciously opened the door and gave a tour to this long Afro-haired kid, because I had hair down to here at that time. And I thought, this place is awesome. And like, yeah, like you make movies. Like, absolutely, I make movies. I would love to have an opportunity to, intern here or do whatever. So that's all great. And then the phone never rang. The email never came. And so I largely put it out of my mind. I went on to working other jobs and live theater and concert, things like that. And then suddenly the phone rang a year later, saying, "Hey, you still interested in the internship?" And so I
no
said,
kidding.
Absolutely. I went in and I didn't leave for 12 years. So
wow,
learned a lot of the professional side from my time there at Suede, from Nick and Aaron and Cam and Justin and Jordan, and Jake was one of the ones there at the beginning, and
great team of very talented people.
Absolutely. It was a family, right? There was a tight group of people. We were there every day together, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did a project with Suede when I had my company.
Okay.
And what a joy to work with someone like Nick Suede.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Shields.
Yes.
At Suede. So during the 12 years, did you do sort of films for yourself, or did you just sort of work with Suede?
Absolutely. During those 12 years, I'm still competing every year at the 48-Hour Flick Fest. So that was kind of a continuous, go back to the well and make another one of those. There's also a few other small one-off projects, music videos, things like that I was working on, because I was still in a couple bands at this point. So I made a couple music videos for a metal band that my brother was in, things like that.
And you were writing?
Yeah. There was this point where I realized, if I want to make movies, no one's going to just say, "Here's a check, make the movie that I wrote for you." You have to learn how to write your own movie, right? So I decided at one point, okay, I need to learn how to be a writer. I can't direct something if I don't know how to write something. So I started really heavily getting into teaching myself how to do that, getting books. Not any different than when I first started. I thought, if I know nothing about filmmaking, where am I going to start? I knew that I would be directing the film and producing the film and editing the film. So I started at the end, and I got books on editing, because I figured if I knew how to edit a movie, then that would inform me on what shots I needed to make the scenes work. And then as long as I directed in a way that gave me those shots, I would have something that worked. And so I kind of approached it backwards. So, then eventually started with editing and then directing and then got to writing. And now, out of necessity, have learned a lot more about the producing side too.
It seems as though everything about you was meant to do this.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. I just think if you attack it with a positive attitude and, you go at it with everything you got, you don't accept that it's not going to happen, you find that things generally work out well. And if they don't, you just keep trying, because for all of these things where I say the stars align, there's always times that they don't.
Yeah. Right? And it's hard work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You put a lot of effort into something and you think this is going to be the thing everyone loves, and then it falls flat, right?
Do you ever think, I don't know if this is going to be the rest of my career, or are you just absolutely certain that this is my career?
Well, I love what I do. I feel very lucky and fortunate to be able to do this full time, be a storyteller and be a filmmaker. If I continue to do this for my entire career, I'd be very happy.
I want to talk about the Bell series, but you mentioned doing music videos. What other sorts of other things have you done?
Well, I've done some TV pilots for different shows. I've done another feature film that shot late last year that's still in post-production right now. But during the course of that time, I've also done a lot of commercial work, right? Doing everything from commercials that you see on TV, commercials you see in Yorktown Square or on Bloor Street in Toronto, or corporate videos that corporations use to market themselves. So that side is a whole other avenue. There are a lot of skills and techniques that you share from the narrative filmmaking side to the commercial side, but there's still it's their own thing with their own tricks and challenges.
Yeah.
And you need one to support the other. You can't pay the bills with passion projects. So it's good to be able to fall back on those when you need to.
That's like being a writer. As a journalist, I was a journalist to pay the bills so that I could write.
Exactly. It's the same thing.
Yeah. No one makes a living writing unless you're Margaret Atwood.
Certainly.
Now, there is a collage, a very sort of good collage of all of your work on your website. And so we're going to show it so that people get a really good sense of the diversity of your work.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll show that in a second. Do you want to continue doing that same sort of thing, doing a variety where you must never get bored?
There's always something different, and that's fun. And I mean, my focus is narrative storytelling. I think that's really interesting. With the way I started in this industry, I think it forced me to learn a variety of skills, right? I can't say that I am just a director or just a cinematographer. Starting out doing everything yourself, you kind of need to learn all of these skills. So I still fall back on that today, whether it's a project where every one of those skills is needed, or I can jump on another project and say, I love being a cinematographer. And so that's a way sometimes I will work as the cinematographer for another director's project. Some of the clips in that reel were just that. Shots from movies I shot for other directors. That, it's great because now I get a chance to expand my network, work and see how other directors work. One of the downsides of being exclusively a director on every project is you never see how other directors work.
Right.
You're never working with another director. There's only one usually. So being the cinematographer or the gaffer or whatever position I've been, the sound guy on films, you see how every part of the crew works, and you always pick something up. It doesn't matter if it's a corporate commercial or a narrative film, feature film, TV, music video. You're going to see the way people work and either think, oh, that's a great technique, I'm going to use that, or I'm definitely never going to do what they're doing, because seeing it from the outside, like, oh, maybe I've done something like that. And I can see how that's actually not a great way to do it.
So now your series, how did you get to do a series for Bell?
Again, very fortunate. We're lucky. So my producing and writing partners, Corey Bissett and Danny Amlin, my wife, get together every week, and we have our writing nights where we're all creative people, and whether we have a specific project or a goal in mind, or sometimes we talk about multiple projects, we like to brainstorm and see what we can come up with. So we were doing that for a while with an idea for a horror film, and then we kind of shifted gears and got this new concept for a comedy murder mystery. And then we shifted gears again and found this idea of a series that was all about local urban legends. There's a lot of great stories, whether they're stories right from the city or a little bit outside, Chatham, Essex County, Chatham, Kent. We thought what was so exciting about that format was, in the series world, it allowed us to make multiple short horror films in different subgenres of horror, right? Not unlike music, the genre has many subgenres. You've got your slasher, your psychological thriller, you've got your, Lovecraftian kind of cosmic horror, monster, all kinds of stuff, right? So having the ability to do one project, but dip our toes into all kinds of different things, again, doing something different all the time, right? Kept it interesting, because getting into a project like this is a multi-year commitment. So, all right, we've got to make it interesting. And we came up with this concept and this idea. We started doing research and finding the shows we wanted and crafting the way we thought it would come together. And then we heard of this Bell program. Bell 5 TV has a mandate to support locally produced television shows, where if you've got a show in a certain region that's kind of focuses on that region, they will support that financially. So we went to one of their pitch nights. We put our package together. We gave them our whole pitch, and luckily they liked it. So they greenlit our project and they paid for it. They said, all right, here you go. Make your show, and you've got this much time. We're going to air it on our platform on this date. So we were off to production.
And so you've done 4
episodes.
Yeah. Texas Road. Everybody knows about Texas Road.
Absolutely.
And I mean, people will love it. And people who have watched all 4 really, really love it.
There was no doubt that that was always going to be our season finale, because right from the first person we told we were embarking on this project, they said, well, you're going to do Texas Road. Of course we're going to do Texas Road. Yes, we're going to do Texas Road.
And then your other 3. One was Bob Lowe.
Island, yeah.
That was fantastic. And I didn't even realize that was based on a true story.
Yeah, it's not nearly as popular as the Texas Road legend, but it's really fascinating, right?
Sure
the
is.
Story of a magician who burns alive on stage.
Yeah. And then, 2 in Chatham?
So one in Chatham, one in Wallaceburg.
Right.
So Wallaceburg is the setting of our season premiere. It's called The Baldoon Mystery. It's one of Canada's oldest and best documented urban legends, right?
Yeah.
There are many books written about this. It's a story that took place in 1829. Baldoon was the name of the settlement originally, and at some point they changed the name to Wallaceburg. It was a Scottish settlement. And this was the story of a witch that tormented a family. And she wanted the land, and they put up a fight.
Yeah. And the film certainly depicts it really well.
No, thank you. Thank you.
So are there more episodes?
And then the last one we didn't talk about yet is A Haunting on Adelaide.
Yeah.
Another ghost story, originally put and published by Sheila Gibbs in her ghost book. But it's a story focused on Jessie, the ghost, who was a nun at the convent in Chatham. She fell in love with a soldier who got her pregnant and then went off to war. And As a nun, that's a no-no. So she got kicked out of the convent and felt so remorseful about it. She went into a big old house and she killed herself. To this day, her ghost remains in the house. So multiple owners of this house have reported seeing things or strange things moving, the doorbell ringing by itself, taps turning on. But in most cases, the events that Jessie kind of takes place in, she's there to help people. There was a popular story of someone who was cleaning a fireplace and with a scented candle because the cleaner she was using was so stinky. She fell asleep and the candle fell over and started a fire. And then suddenly she felt a grab on her shoulder and shook her awake. And she woke up and there's no one there. She thought, it's got to be Jessie.
So she's not malevolent.
No. She's there to help others because she feels that she wasn't the one she was supposed to be.
So I can't believe how fast this time has gone. Very quickly, there is a trailer for the series.
Yeah.
And we will show it.
Everything you're about to hear is a true story.
After what I saw, there's something out there.
I think the whole property has a dark energy.
It was something from a totally other world.
And it really does give a really good feeling for the whole series, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes. And are you working on something new?
Well, we're very excited to continue this show and do a second season. There's excellent. A lot of stories that need to be told and explore. We could only get 4 into season 1, so we're very excited to do some more of these.
Well, when people listen to this, I'm sure you'll be getting calls because everybody knows something.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on all your awards that we've not even talked about. And we look forward to the next series.
Thank you.
Well, we could talk for many hours about film and Ken's work and the whole film industry, in fact, in Windsor and Essex County. But that's it now here on Scribes and Songsters. Many thanks to our guest today, filmmaker Ken Amlin, and special thanks to our Scribes and Songsters team, producer Brian Sweet and technical producer and editor Gary Glass. Grateful thanks to Tony Toldo and the Toldo Foundation, and to Neil and Tina Quiring for their support. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon, right back here on Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. Bye for now.